Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Halal Times YouTube channel. Today we brought to you another episode from the Halal Times, and today's topic is very important. It's not important for everybody, but it is vital, and it's a sad news for millions of investors, Muslim investors I'm talking about for the time being, as our main target audience is Muslims on this YouTube channel. Millions of Muslims, especially in countries like. And what is that sad news? Is basically cryptocurrency has crashed, and it's got a massive blow. Crypto has crashed. We have seen the spectacular rise and then fall of a currency that did not have much basis since its inception in 2009. So the question is this the end of cryptocurrency as we know it? The topic has been making headlines in all the major newspapers around the globe since FTX, the second largest cryptocurrency exchange, filed for bankruptcy last week. The crypto world is in shock. It has lost almost 70% of its value within a short few months. Originally valued at more than $3 trillion in its heydays, it seems to have crashed, at least for now. But the question is, will it survive the shock? The New York Times addressed these and many other issues related to the doomed currency in the following lines. Recent events have made clear the need to regulate cryptocurrency, which is an industry that grew from nothing to a whooping $3 trillion market capitalization a year ago. Although most of that now has evaporated. But it also seems likely that the industry couldn't survive regulation. The story so far is that basically crypto reached its pinnacle of public prominence last year when Matt Damon's Fortune Favors the Brave commercial, sponsored by the Singapore-based exchange Crypto.com, first aired. At the time, Bitcoin, the most famous cryptocurrency, was selling for more than $60,000. Now, at the time of this recording, basically Bitcoin is now trading below 17,000. So people who bought after watching the Damon ad have lost more than 70% of their investment. In fact, since most people who bought Bitcoin did so when its price was pretty high, most investors in the currency, around 3/4 of them, according to a new analysis by the Bank for International Settlements, have lost money so far. Still, asset prices plunge all the time. People who bought stock in Meta, the company formerly known as Facebook, at its peak last year, have lost around as much money as investors in the Bitcoin have. So, why do we need to worry about that? Falling prices need not mean that cryptocurrencies are doomed. Crypto boosters surely wouldn't give up. That is their stance. According to a report from the Washington Post, many of those who subscribe to Twitter Blue verified Elon Musk's disastrous and now paused attempt to extract money from Twitter users were accounts promoting right-wing politics, pornography, and cryptocurrency speculation. More telling than prices has been the collapse of crypto institutions. Most recently, FTX, one of the biggest crypto exchanges, filed for bankruptcy, and it appears that the people running it simply made off with billions of depositors' dollars, probably using the funds in a failed effort to prop up Alameda Research, its sister organization. So, to my understanding, the question we should ask ourselves is why institutions like FTX or Terra, the so called stablecoin issuer that collapsed in May this year, were created in the first place? That is the question which we need to ask the industry pundits. After all, the 2008 white paper that started the cryptocurrency movement, published under the pseudonym name Satoshi Nakamura, we don't know whether this name is real or not, was titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That is, the whole idea was that electronic tokens whose validity was established with techniques borrowed from cryptography would make it possible for people to bypass financial institutions. You wanted to transfer funds to someone else, you could simply send them a number, a key, with no need to trust Citigroup or Chase Manhattan or Bank of America or anyone else to have a record for the transaction. It's never been clear exactly why anyone other than criminals would want to do this. Although crypto advocates often talk about the 2008 financial crisis as a motivation for their work, that crisis never impaired the payment system. The ability of individuals to transfer funds via banks, of course, they've still been doing it via bank transfers, and absolutely there has been no problem at all. Still, the idea of a monetary system that wouldn't require trust in financial institutions was interesting and arguably worth trying even at that time. But unfortunately, the problem is nobody questioned about this at that time in 2008. So, whose fault is it? We got to understand this. After 14 years, however, cryptocurrencies have made almost no inroads into the traditional role of money. They're too awkward to use for ordinary transactions. Their values are too unstable. In fact, really few investors can even be bothered to hold their cryptocurrency keys themselves. Too much risk of losing them by, say, for example, putting them on a hard drive that ends up in a landfill, for example. That could be a possibility. So there is no stability involved in cryptocurrencies. Instead, cryptocurrencies are largely purchased through exchanges like Coinbase and, yes, of course, FTX, the doomed company, and Binance as well, which take your money and hold crypto tokens in your name. That is their fundamental way of exchanging money. These exchanges are financial institutions whose ability to attract investors depends on those investors' trust. In other words, the cryptocurrency ecosystem has basically evolved into exactly what it was supposed to replace: a system of financial intermediaries whose ability to operate depends on their perceived trustworthiness. In which case, what is the point? Why should an industry that at best has simply reinvented conventional banking have any fundamental value? Furthermore, trust in conventional financial institutions rests in part on validation by America and so many other countries, of course. The governments supervise banks, regulate the risk they can take, and guarantee many deposits, while crypto operates largely without oversight. So investors must rely on honesty and competence of entrepreneurs. When they offer exceptionally good deals, investors must believe not just in their competence, but in their genius as well. Now we need to ask this question: how has that been working out so far in the financial industry? As boosters love to remind us, previous predictions of crypto's imminent demise have proved wrong. Indeed, the fact that Bitcoin and its rivals aren't really usable as money need not mean that they become worthless. You can, after all, say the same thing about gold as well. But if the government finally moves in to regulate crypto firms, with which, among other things, prevent them from promising impossible to deliver returns, it's hard to see what advantage these firms would have over ordinary banks. even if the value of Bitcoin doesn't go to zero, which it still might, there's a possibility, and you got to be aware of it. There's a strong indication that the crypto industry, which loomed so large just a few short months ago, is headed for total crash. So, if you're still thinking on investing in cryptocurrency, you got to understand this basic point that it might not have a good future. So, guys, thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you about something very important which has affected millions of investors around the world and trillions of dollars. I'm not talking about billions, but trillions of dollars are lost in short few months during this year 2022. So you got to understand this very basic phenomena, what is happening with the cryptocurrency. If you're really interested in investing your money, hard earned money, go somewhere else, but not cryptocurrency. This is too volatile and its value changes too much. So you may want to look for somewhere else if you have some money to invest in. Thanks so much, and it was nice talking. And before I let you go, I request you to subscribe to our channel so that you can continue receiving our latest YouTube videos about various topics in the global halal industry. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum.